We're live.
Okay. Are we live?
We are live on Facebook.
Okay. All right. Well, then here, let's do this. Ready? 3, 2, 1. We're going to say welcome to the Angel and Tina morning show. My name's Angel Tussey, and I'm going to turn it on over to our fabulous co-host, Miss Tina Torres.
Because she has to go off and speak again on another platform. And she was like, okay, I'm going to introduce and then I'm going to leave. So Angel's going to be in two places in one day, at one time today. Thank you, Angel.
All right. We'll see you soon.
All right. So, oh my gosh, it is Wednesday. It is Connect Summit Day. I'm so excited. Oh my goodness. Okay. Hopefully this Facebook Live stays on. And I have the most amazing people in the world with me today, Aaron and Veronica. Oh my gosh, these people, welcome.
Hey, thank you for having us.
You can tell obviously I'm excited. Let me just make sure that I have the comments on here. Where are you guys coming from?
We're in San Diego.
Oh, my favorite place in the world. That's my happy place, San Diego. What part of San Diego do you guys live in?
We're by Bonita area.
Okay.
For those that are not from California, it's about 15 minutes south of downtown San Diego.
Yeah. Well, I met you guys like a couple of years ago, like 2 years ago, at an event in San Diego, and you guys are just like this most amazing people. You have an amazing daughter who, how old is she?
She just turned 14 yesterday.
Yes.
No,
Monday.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And like too smart for her own good, like just way smarter than she needs to be. And you guys have an amazing business together. Can you tell me a little bit about your business?
Sure.
Yeah. So our newest company is called the Manifestation Mindset Institute. And what we help people to do is when we're looking to create things in our life, a lot of things that we are manifesting, things that we create in our life, it all starts in a mindset, and it starts in our thoughts and how we learn to attract things into our world. And so a lot of people might always have that question, like, why do things always happen to me this way? Or why can't I attract this person? Or why am I always having issues with finances or my business? Well, a lot of that comes down to a thought process and our energy that we put out. And what Veronica and I help people to do is unlock, like, what is the hidden barriers, the things that keep you stuck from creating the things or actually manifesting what it is that you want in your life.
And sometimes a lot of times things go hidden, and it's stuff that's stuck in the subconscious mind that sometimes we're not even aware of. And so we help to draw that out and really pinpoint exactly what is stopping you.
That is pretty amazing, because I know mindset, in every business and every entrepreneur, whether you're a coach, whatever it is, you always want to start with your mindset, because it's the mindset that's going to get you around the financial barrier, I can do this in a relationship, whatever it is, it's the mindset that controls everything. Mm-hmm. What are some of the things that you guys do in order to break those barriers?
Well, first we clear out whatever's there, and we'll clear out the emotional charge that's stuck in the nervous system. And once we do that, then we help to coach people through, to go through the process. So it's like, okay, they're stuck here in this area. Okay, what can you do different to help you to achieve your goal? Or a little, baby steps, like what's something you can do today to help you move you towards your goal?
So as an example, sometimes we'll get people that want to work on their relationships, and they might think, well, I'm really looking for someone. I can't find the right person in my life. And then we'll look at, okay, well, let's make sure that you're congruent with everything that you say that you want. So people will do like their vision boards, people will do their goal setting. If they even do that, we'll take them to that process. They haven't, but we want to understand, is there anything that's resisting that? And so people might say, yeah, I want to be in a relationship. They say that consciously, but at an unconscious level, and we can actually do some energetic physical testing on this to see, is your subconscious saying yes, or is it saying, no, I don't want that? Yeah. And there really is a difference between attracting a relationship and attracting a healthy relationship. So you have to be very specific in what you say that you want, because people will say, I want to be in a relationship, and they get the relationship, but if they haven't been clear or specific, then it's like the universe kind of gives them any relationship, and then it could be either really good or it could be really, really bad. And that's what we want to identify, is what is stopping them from attracting that. And a lot of times it comes down to past experiences, belief systems that, that get ingrained within our subconscious mind, our nervous system. And so the body will tend to react when things come their way. A relationship starts to happen and people might get a little nervous, and their energy just attracts a certain type of vibration. And that's why people will say, well, I always seem to have these people in my life. Why? That's an energy.
So it's kind of like when someone will ask you, oh, what do you want to eat for dinner today? You're like, oh, I don't know, whatever. And then, the person brings something or makes something, and then it's like, oh, that's not really my favorite. Well, you weren't specific enough. You didn't clarify what you wanted. So you get what you get.
So, I mean, you guys know me personally. So you guys know I'm on a single journey. And everybody is blowing up the comments saying, oh my gosh, Tina, you have the right people on for you. I am in that dating world, and I keep bringing all these people into my life.
Is it like the same type of pattern? And
it is like
okay.
all married men. And it's just kind of crazy. Like the comments are blowing up here. They're like, Tina, get it done. Okay, so so use me as your guinea pig. And I adore.
Let's call it test subject.
Yeah, I'm gonna test subject. That sounds even worse. I adore Veronica, but we're both Spanish, so I always because she touched me when we were in San Diego, and she was did something, and she said ooh, and she said something to me, and I'm like bruja. So I always call her that because it's so amazing. She has this gift, and I know you call it a gift, but sometimes it's a bad gift, right? Like you're like, okay, I don't want to feel all these people's room, but you have a gift where you can feel the people's energy, and especially if you touch them, right?
I don't even have to touch them. It's kind of like tapping into their energy field. And in the past, I didn't do it on purpose. It would, like, if somebody would cross my path, my energy, my aura, and it was like I could feel what they were feeling. But now I've learned to just kind of be me and not really try to be tapping into them unless we're working on them. But sometimes like when people really have a lot of heavy stuff, then I just feel it.
Oh, that's some heavy stuff. That's some heavy stuff. Like if you have to feel all these people's emotions, like you walk into a room and you're like, oh geez, I think this is too much. Do you ever feel that way?
In the past, I felt it a lot more, where it was really overwhelming, but I've learned to kind of keep my own energy kind of in its own little bubble. And every now and then I will feel that, but it's been a lot better than just being overwhelmed by so much energy. And the more I worked on myself, it seemed like it became easier for me to be around a lot of people.
And that's how we really started this journey. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Tina.
I was gonna say, so what are your roles? Because I know the backstory of how you guys met and all that kind of stuff, but let our audience know the backstory of how you guys met and the both of the gifts that you guys both bring to the table.
Right, we're in sync right now. We're gonna say she's asking the question, I'm giving the answer before she asks it. I can feel you, Tina.
Good. I'm a good test subject.
Well, my background was I was a chiropractor, and I got really into the healing arts at a very young age. I was, even out of high school, I was a personal trainer. Really enjoyed health and healing. And then when I became a chiropractor, I was introduced to a lot of different healing modalities, and And one of the biggest ones was called applied kinesiology, where they use a lot of muscle testing and using the body as biofeedback to understand what's really going on. Why do you have X or Y condition or health problem? And I started to understand that it wasn't just physical stuff that we had to work on, but there's nutritional factors that can create physical symptoms. But then as I went through and had my own experiences, I realized how much our emotions, the stuff that we hold on to, from our issues in our relationships, issues in our business, worried about finances, family issues that might go on, or just the world around us. And the things that we hold on to, if we don't learn how to express our emotions. And I was that type of guy that was like, I don't express emotions. I try to keep it in.
Like that, right? Like they
yeah.
Don't tell anybody how you feel. Don't cry. Don't
don't do it in public. That's the biggest thing, right?
Do it in private. Just don't do it in public.
And it doesn't mean, because we're all human, so we're all emotional in some way. Like we feel things. So I bottle it up. I never wanted to deal with it, and so I started to actually manifest physical health issues and pain in my body that not a lot of people can work with. And so I learned different techniques in emotional release healing, and I started seeing all my pains go away. And I started working with patients on that, and all their issues started to go away almost instantly by allowing them to release. And then I met Veronica, and as we kind of started working with each other over a few years, when I started my practice, I was in my office, and I was doing emotion work on people, and she was sitting there, taking notes or kind of observing. And almost when I'm asking the right question, she just starts emoting. All these tears start coming out of her. And I realized that she can feel, it's like I unlock something that she can feel before they're consciously aware of it. So it let me know that I was on the right path. And eventually we just said, let's bring this together, because I can test it, but it works really good when she can feel that.
Yeah.
Because she can sense things that I can't.
And I think a lot of the issues that people that used to come to Erin for were, they have physical pain, but a lot of it was emotions and everything that's just stuck. And a lot of times it goes back to childhood, sometimes even before they were born. So it's really interesting, the things that we find out and how the stuff just gets stuck into the body, into the nervous system. So it's I think it's really powerful to have both of us together to be able to really dig and dive deep into what's really going on with people.
And you guys have a system where you guys can find out at what point in your life things started to turn, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I remember you guys, I don't know if you guys remember, you guys did mine. And it was like when I was in the womb.
Yeah.
I was like, that's just great.
You remember that time, right?
I'm like, they're like, I don't know. I don't remember all that. And, a lot of emotions start coming up when you find that out. And I think a lot of those emotions, when you're in your body, you start having that anxiety, you have that pit in your stomach, you have back pain or whatever it is caused by all those emotions that you hold on to.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what can people do so use me as what'd you call me, a test subject?
Or would you prefer guinea pig? I don't know.
They call them the rats and the
rats.
pigs. So what would you do for me and you guys know my story. You guys all know my story. I have, eggs and all that kind of drama. So do whatever you would do to somebody to release those emotions. What would you give those tips to people to do? Okay.
Well, when we're actually working with somebody, we've actually tested. A lot of it's just asking questions and understanding, it's like taking a history for somebody when you're going to the doctor's office. They want to know what's going on, what you've been doing. So the first question we would have is, when it comes to the area of relationships, and for those watching, this can also work in your business, if it's finances, if it's, how do you want your relationship with your kids? It's not just intimate relationships or romantic relationships. It's relationships in your workplace, your coworkers, your colleagues, your mom, your dad, any relationships. So the first thing I would ask is, what is it that you really want to attract and manifest in your life when it comes to relationships? And that's my question for you. You have to answer now.
The hot seat now.
We're interviewing Tina right now, by the way.
I'm in the hot seat today, and everybody is loving it. Thank you, thank you. Okay, so you guys all know I'm in the dating world. So I'm looking for somebody to spend the rest of my life with, that happy, healthy relationship that loves me unconditionally, that shows that unconditional love and lifts me up when I need it, and wants to build an empire with me and prays with me when I need prayer, and knows before I kind of do what I need, almost, is that soulmate, that soulmate person, and who's faithful, all the main things that you need to be. I have to have that on my list. I've never had that. So those are the things that I want.
Awesome. Okay, so Tina's got goals. So she's been very specific. She's been working on this. And some people are very vague with that. Like they just say, I want a nice relationship. So what we would do on our end was we just start tuning in. And what we do from here is we actually do some physical testing on our end, a lot of intuitive work. But when you watch this in the process, it's really, we're going to watch your body language. We're going to watch how you breathe and everything, just to see when it lets us know, are we on the right track? And sometimes we can get off track and it's like, nah, that's not it. Let's go back over here. So are you ready, Tina?
I'm ready. Let's go.
So we like to use muscle testing on our end. And so it's like we do remote wired muscle testing. We do Bluetooth here. Okay. And so like, I'm going to have Veronica kind of tap into your energy if that's okay with you.
Tap away.
Okay. We have to get permission to get into your energy field. And so you got your tissues on hand?
No, kind of.
You kind of have tissues.
Oh, wait, do I need tissues?
Just in case.
Just in case. Sometimes we do, sometimes we don't. Most times when we work, we do. Okay. So we're going to do just some testing here. So I'm going to do some testing for Veronica. Imagine like we're testing Tina physically. Okay, so hold here. I'm just going to make sure we're all turned on here. I'm going to check our audio and our mics here. All right, you got her? Just check here, make sure everything's working. Okay, we are good to go. She's got in your field right now. So we'll just have you repeat a few phrases. So imagine you saying things out loud as your conscious mind saying, here's what I want. But the body's going to tell us something different. It's kind of like one of those little lie detectors where they check your pulse rate and everything. So
yeah, so I'm going to have a lie detector test on live.
Pretty much. What do you guys want to know? Type it in here to the feed and we will ask Tina.
Comments below. Everything you want to know about Tina Torres today.
Okay, so repeat after us. I'm okay being in a relationship.
I'm okay in being in a relationship.
Okay, everything tests good and you can see Tina's face. She feels confident with that. Yes, I want that. Okay, let's do something a little more specific. I'm okay being in a healthy relationship.
I'm okay in being in a healthy relationship.
Okay, still good on our end. And again, notice Tina, she's got a smile as she says that. Yes, I want that. What happens is some people, when you notice it, is you ask the question and they kind of, or they hesitate to say it, or they kind of, I'm okay being in a healthy relationship. The tone of voice changes. And we worked on this with you, so I know we've cleared a lot of it. So let's see what else there might be. Let's get away from relationships, because one thing you said, I want someone that loves me unconditionally. Say, I'm okay with being loved.
I'm okay with being loved.
Ooh, there it is. Did you notice how less bubbly she was when she said that?
What?
She had a smile on her face, but it wasn't as vibrant as the last few times. And we tested around, but I want you guys to also see it as well. So let's say I'm okay loving someone else.
I'm okay with loving someone else.
Okay, so that one's a little better. So right now we're saying there's an energy of accepting or being loved. We all want to be loved, but sometimes there could be a resistance to that. And so let's identify what that is. So keep saying, I'm okay with being loved.
I'm okay with being loved.
Okay, keep going until I tell you to stop.
I'm okay with being loved. I'm
okay, I got it.
Okay. Oh, Lord. Got it.
So the concept of resentment, anger, frustration, emotionally repressed, depressed, the concept of you're depressed.
So the concept is being loved, and the emotion that shows up with that is the emotion of feeling depressed or sad. If you were to know, how could you feel depressed or sad with being loved? Does that make sense at all to you?
Oh,
No, not at all.
if you were loved unconditionally, you should feel happy and full of joy and gratitude.
We should, right?
Mhm.
And so, we may not get to it here, but it depends on how long the process is. But right now we're tied in there. So let's imagine for a moment. You get that unconditional love from that person. You're receiving that love. If you were to know what could be sad about that, and just let's play around for a moment,
Hmm.
and we'll test it to make sure we're on the right track.
Okay. Probably the fear of rejection, or the fear of being left, or finding somebody else, or cheating, stuff like that.
Okay, so she had you just mentioned a lot of different things. So let's go through each one. So the concept of you're depressed with being loved would be of losing that love.
Mhm.
Okay, so that's in the energy field. Let's look the concept you're depressed of. What else did you say?
The fear of rejection.
So the concept of you're depressed of being rejected. Okay, and that might still be there somewhere, but right now it's that loss,
Mhm.
and that's a very common one, by the way.
Unfaithful.
So the concept of you're depressed of the relation being unfaithful, in that sense, right? So imagine somebody, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people have had this experience. You've been in a relationship, and then there's a breakup if you're not in that relationship right now. And that's a very challenging moment and a challenging time. It could be a week, it could be months, but it's not a very pleasant experience for most people. And so that's an imprint.
Mhm.
And the subconscious mind might say, I want these things, but I don't want to go through that again.
So it's safer for you to maybe not be in a relationship because of that fear. So fear of, like you said, them being cheated on or losing someone that you love.
So now we have to identify, where did that imprint start? And we have to clear that one out. And if we can't get there, then we'll just focus on any present moments or anything that comes to your mind. So we'll look at, and I also, for you, Tina, I want you to pay attention to how you feel, because how you feel is more important than what we're doing over here, because that's your energy.
Yeah.
So the concept of an original event in your life in which you felt the sense of depressed because you lost love in your life. Let me just say that. Okay.
So the concept from conception to 10 years old, conception of 5 years old, conception of 4, conception of 3, conception of 2, at age 1. So the concept of, let's try in the womb at age 1.
You remember age 1. You were in relationships at this time, right?
Oh.
1 shows up for some reason. I don't know why. But it's that concept, whether it's like a fear, just a depressed of losing love.
Mhm.
Let's just kind of go through memory banks. When you're about 1 year old, what was going on around this time of your life?
Oh, I was the only child.
Okay.
Living in San Diego.
Mhm.
With my parents. I don't know what else. I probably was learning to walk. I know I got potty trained at 10 months. Wait, but that
10
was
months. She beat me.
Wow.
I was a very goal oriented child. But I mean, I'm typical 1 year old. It was just me and my parents
hmm
for 5 years.
And how was the family dynamic? If you,
Good.
it was really good.
Married.
Okay.
They were married. They're still married.
Okay, good. And again, we could be on track, we could be off track. I'm just trying to identify, because sometimes, depending on where the energy goes, and also how the way we word things can make a difference. Again, we're going really fast here because of time purposes here on the show.
We have about 35 minutes, so you're good.
So let me just say the concept of, I'm going to repeat the phrase a little bit, just sometimes things don't ring a bell. And actually, before we do that, I will ask you, because I feel like there's something, like we missed something for a moment.
Okay.
So let's go back to the concept of that depressive losing love. So if you're in a relationship, you got that loving relationship, and let's just say it ends and you lose that.
Mhm.
What for you would be so sad or depressing about that?
Probably the feeling of being alone.
Ah,
Doing things on your own and not having that person with you.
Okay. So now let's do a phrase here, because she said a really key word that happens to a lot of people. Say, I'm okay with being alone.
I'm okay with being alone.
Ooh,
Hmm.
that's a core issue, right?
Oh my goodness.
So, because that's a bigger one. Like, why would people fear that? Why would they be depressed? Because it means something. There's always a meaning to everything. There's a cause.
No,
So now let's go back to say, I'm okay being alone.
I'm okay with being alone.
Okay, keep going. We're just restarting.
Being alone. I'm okay with being alone.
Okay, there we
I'm
go.
okay with being alone.
Okay, now we got it. Blue.
So the concept of paralyzed will,
Okay.
fear, the concept of your fear.
Okay, this might start making more sense. Why would there be a fear with being alone?
Ooh, well, I'm 46 years old. I don't
Yeah.
want to live the rest of my life by myself.
Mm-hmm. What would be scary about it, though?
Ooh, I don't know. Dying alone or being alone the rest of my life and not having that person with me, not having that good marriage, love. You're going to make me cry.
Mhm.
And that's how it's going to happen. When you start to notice emotion coming up, that's when we're getting to the core issue.
Mhm.
And that's where we want to help people get to. So that's why I want you to have your tissues. Again, she's got to work on her makeup a little bit more. But when she
been a day already. Good Lord.
but you start but I want people to also know that when we're watching, just asking the right questions, it starts to trigger our deeper stuff.
Yeah.
And we have fear about not being loved or losing the love. It's what that losing the love represents. And for Tina, for you, there's something more of an issue of being alone.
Yeah.
And you're not the only one that has an issue with this. This is a very common pattern for people, is being alone, losing love, all of that, worthiness, being valued, all these different things. So I want you to just tap into that. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit more.
Okay.
So describe that feeling of by yourself.
Ooh, I don't know. I don't like being by myself. I like being around people. They give me energy. They give me that positive, uplifting type of energy. And when I'm by myself, it's like nothing there to inspire me, I guess.
So now let's talk about the love part, not having that person.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay to have friends, and friends can go away. They go to their place, but that one that's with you all the time, like Veronica and we're together all the time. So I want you just to bring you back to where you were just a second ago when you were talking about it. You felt all that emotion start to come up.
Mm-hmm.
Is what did that feel like?
I have a pit in my stomach. I still do, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Just because I was in a bad marriage for 20 years, he cheated and there was a lot of physical abuse and stuff like that. So I don't want to be in that same situation. And I want to be in a healthy relationship.
Mm-hmm.
One where he's faithful and he's there all the time and you guys are like one. You give 100%, he gives 100%, and God's in the middle,
Mm-hmm.
that type of love.
Yeah. So think about this. There's going to be a process to find that person, right? It could happen tomorrow. It could happen a week from now, a month from now, depends on how you work and how you put it out, your energy out there. But until that happens, you're still by yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And so for Tina has to be okay mentally, emotionally, I'm okay by myself too. And I'm okay also having that one person. Yeah. But the subconscious says, until I have that person, I'm not okay being by myself.
Mm-hmm.
And that brings up a lot of stuff. It's when you think about it, like it gives you that pit in your stomach. Think about being alone.
Yeah.
So when we are okay to be by yourself, that's when the universe will provide you, because it's your test. Mm-hmm. So you should be okay with or without, but it's also good to have with.
Yeah. And also what's showing up is it's like the subconscious mind it in a way protects you from that fear. Okay, like I meet someone, everything's good, and then they go away. And it's like I'd rather be alone than to experience that.
Yeah.
Or even to go through what you went through before.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we gotta take Tina through a little process here. Okay, because we're describing as we're going through. So Tina, close your eyes for just a moment. And most people are going to always want to focus on what it is that they want, and we'll get there. But now I just want you to focus on what it feels like to be by yourself and alone for just a moment. And as you are visualizing that or seeing that, what does that feel like?
A little bit empty, but free, like freedom, like free and inspiring.
Okay. Do you still feel that pit in your stomach when you think about being by yourself and alone?
A little bit.
Okay, go to that where that pit of is it in that kind of that solar plexus area?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So pay attention to that. I want you to go in there, close your eyes. I want you to go into that energy there. And what do you sense? What is it telling you?
I don't know.
Okay. Then let's take a process. So feel that for a moment. Okay, close your eyes. As you're thinking about kind of being by yourself, single, alone, you're starting to feel that as you're thinking about that. Let's take a big deep breath, and I want you to take all that breath like it's light and bring it all the way down to the pit of your stomach. And breathe out. And keep thinking about being single, alone. Keep breathing in. Until you feel that sensation start to dissipate and go away. Ooh. Keep going deeper.
It's gone.
Good. Doesn't take that long.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy.
So thinking about it now, like being alone, like, do you feel anything, or is it just kind of like a...
I think I'm okay with being alone. I don't like it. I'd rather be around people because I'm such an extrovert. But I think because I've been single for so long, in and out of a few relationships, but been single for so long, now I'm kind of like enjoying being single.
But that's a good place to be,
Yeah.
right? You want to be able to enjoy that rather than, again, that back burner that says, you know what, I'll have fun, I'll do things, but it's like, I really don't like it.
Yeah.
I want that someone, but it's like, okay. I'm going to allow that person to come in there. I'm going to enjoy this time while I'm single.
Mhm.
That
Yeah.
person's going to come.
Yeah. Yeah. Like in
So-
the back of my mind, I'm thinking, I still want somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want, love, and I still want affection and all that stuff. But up here, I'm going, but I'm okay being single. I'm okay, living the single life.
Mm-hmm. But as we talked about earlier, and again, I'm talking to those that are watching, is if you notice when she said the certain words is, you thought about being alone, just the thought of it. That's why thought has energy.
Yeah.
You start to feel like, oh, I feel like uncomfortable in my stomach. It wasn't like, oh, I feel so great. I feel vibrant. It's like, something in there that doesn't feel good.
Yeah.
So let's go back. The first one was the love one, and then we'll do the alone.
So I'm okay being loved.
I'm okay being loved.
I just want you to know, anybody pay attention. How did that feel when you said that this time?
Good. Like exhilarating.
Good. Now let's do the alone.
I'm okay being alone.
I'm okay with being alone.
Okay. It's safe for me to be alone.
It's safe for me to be alone.
It's good for me to be alone.
It's good for me to be alone.
Okay. I'm okay attracting a happy, healthy, loving relationship.
I'm okay with attracting a happy, healthy, loving relationship.
Okay. So that's just the iceberg, right? And there's so many different phrases that we can go through. And we tell people it's kind of like a diamond, where a diamond has so many different cuts and sides to it. Somebody might tell us, I've already worked on that. I've seen such and such person, and they've worked on those issues. And I'm not saying that they didn't, that was a good thing. But a lot of times we find that people only worked on one little aspect of that diamond. And there are so many different pieces to that we have to really work around to make sure that we are really congruent. Yeah. And so all I want you to do is just pay attention to your energy. Okay. When you think about that, is enjoy that time, being alone. But then now, as the time with the energy shifted, you start focusing on what you do want. Yeah. Do your vision board, do your writing, and put that person out there.
And I've been told to write down the exact type of person that you want to attract. Is that something that you guys tell people too?
Yeah, because that's being more specific with exactly what you want versus like, oh, I want Italian food. Okay, well, there's so many like different varieties of it, so it's being specific with exactly what you want.
And do you guys tell people to actually write it down with their handwriting?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, writing it down is a good thing because you're putting that energy into, like, it's like putting it out to the universe. So you write it out, it's sending that energy versus thinking about it. It's still good, but once you write it down on paper, you're putting it out there.
And this is exactly what we did. It was probably 2011 where I was single as well. And I had started a career. I thought everything was great. I had a great place, but I was the same concept. I felt alone. Like I didn't have anybody to share that with. And I had my relationship issues, and I went to an event that with the modalities that I've learned to work with, and it was where I got a chance to really work on me. And I worked on everything around relationships around that weekend. And I went through the same process where I just kind of how we did with you. I just anything that was creating resistance, any issues that I still had to work on from the past that needed to be uprooted and let go of. And I did a lot of that, a lot of emotion release. All that stuff I told you I bottled up, it all came out that weekend.
Right.
And then once all that energy was gone, that's when I put that energy into what I was writing. So here's what I wanted. I wrote it down in a paragraph. And what's interesting is 6 months later, I met Veronica. It wasn't a week, it was 6 months, but I met Veronica. And it was interesting, 2 years into our relationship, I pulled that folder out and I found that paper. And it was interesting when I read it because it was exactly spot on.
It was her to a T.
Huh?
It was her to a T. Like
it was her to a T. Yeah, exactly. And that's the power of writing things down. But also you have to release the energy. You have to let go of all the old stuff. Doesn't mean you can't create that without letting things go, but it's more powerful that way. Yeah. And it's like when you're congruent with what you say you want, the universe will conspire to work to provide that for you.
And during that time, I was married back in 2011, but I was unhappy. And I remember going to this group where it was kind of like not predicting, but kind of the outlook for the new year. It was like in, I don't know if it was November or December, and they were doing like readings and things like that. And one of the lady that was facilitating the event, she's like, you deserve to have someone better, and you're gonna meet someone. And then I'm like, oh, who's it gonna be? But I was just joking around. Like, I don't really care to know at that time. I wasn't ready to get into a relationship because I was trying to get out of one. Right. And so that kind of confirmed to me that I wasn't supposed to be in that relationship anymore. So then I made the decision on New Year's Day to call it quits. And then I was going to save up until I had enough money to move out. But then I'm like, why am I going to wait and be here where I'm not happy? So I made the decision to move out a couple months later. And I had met Aaron around that time, and it just happened. And we actually had an opportunity to meet a couple times before.
Yeah, at least 3 or 4.
Yeah, and it somehow didn't happen. And that was before that. Like before I decided to leave, and it just wasn't the right time. And so when we met, it was like perfect timing.
Yeah. And it's interesting because it's been 9 years we've been together. In fact, we went on our first date 9 years ago today.
Oh, yeah. Where did you guys go?
I actually took her to it was like an improv comedy theater here in San Diego. I was part of the improv at the time, and I was like, hey, come to one of the shows, and we went there. It was funny because I was in a mastermind group during that day, and I was in there all day long. I was like, you're nervous about going on your first date, and I was just waiting to get out of them. It took me a little longer than I wanted to get out, and she had already been there waiting for me. I was like, oh my God, she's waiting. And but we're here. We're going on our 3rd year of marriage now this year, and everything's been working out really well. We started our business together. We do a lot of different things, but when we really work on ourselves and understand how our mind works, And Veronica, you just brought up a great point a second ago. We're talking about relationships right now, but it could be in your business, in your career. What is it you really want to create in your life? Is it, do you want more fun in your life? Do you want to go travel? Whatever you want to manifest and create is in relationships. A lot of people tend to just settle for what comes to them. And if they're in unhappy relationships, how many people have noticed somebody being in a really unhealthy relationship, but yet they don't get out of that, and it becomes pattern, right? But there's a lot of reasons for that too. There could be fear of, what am I going to do if I leave? Are there kids involved? I don't have money to go anywhere, or am I going to be alone? There's a lot of different factors. What are people going to say? My church, my family, my community. There's a lot of, and so it's like the fear kind of keeps them in that place.
Yeah.
And never really thought about like Veronica was brave. Like, I don't care. I don't care where I'm going to go. I may not have the money. She had a daughter at the time, and she's like, I'm just going to go. And she took that leap, and something greater came out of that. Something greater came out of that.
The best.
He threw
The
that in there.
best. But you guys have a special relationship too. I know when, Aaron, when you're going through things, Veronica can kind of go in there and feel those things, and you're like, get out of my head.
I can't hide anything from her. But here's the blessing of that. It forces me to deal with it sooner than later.
Yeah.
And bottle it up. I can go back into old habits and old conditioning, and kind of I go in my quiet mode. I'm not the type of person, if I'm upset with something, I'll lash out. And that's one of the wrong things to do. So again, one of the things we do for people is we teach you how to work with your emotions, because it's very strong.
Yeah.
And a lot of times we do things that we shouldn't do because of emotions get in the way, and then we regret it later on. We don't tune into our intuition. It's like, how do you deal with those emotions? So we teach people how to work with that, because no one ever taught us what to do. We just kind of learned to do it on our own.
You're reacting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, that's a big thing.
Who don't have you guys in their household, going through room to room. What are you doing? What are you thinking about? Tell me what you're doing. What are some of the things that they can be doing at home, or what are some of the things they can be doing on their own to help release that kind of energy?
So when they have emotions and they know what it is, where it came from, or they might not, it's really taking time to be by yourself and asking yourself, why am I feeling this way? And if you know the reason why, and you're triggered and you're upset, it's taking that time to breathe. And just breathe through it and think about what happened and what really got you to that point of maybe being upset, angry, at someone or something, and just breathe through that. But allow yourself to feel the emotion versus stuffing it down. And if it involves somebody else, take that time to breathe it out. And then once the emotions are gone or are less intense, then set some time to talk to that person, because you don't want to talk to someone when you're in that state, because like Aaron said, then you might say something you don't mean. You might, react in a way that, that is oh my gosh, and maybe hurt the other person, or whether physically, emotionally, it just depends how you are. But it's really taking the time to lessen those emotions but process it, breathe, feel it, allow it to dissipate.
I think a lot of people are either been taught or conditioned that it's not good to be emotional. No. Don't cry, suck it up. You think about, if you were emotional, and it all stems from childhood, is you get emotional. A lot of times what happens, parents will punish you even more.
Stop crying. I'm going to give you something to cry about.
Yeah, but that's the conditioning. Those are the habits that get installed. And so what happens, kids, as they go into young childhood to adolescence to young adulthood and above, they still are using the same patterns as they were when they were little kids. And so what we had to learn how to do is learn what we do to process that. It's okay. And again, we don't have to do that in the middle of public in a big area and just break down. Sometimes that happens because the emotion becomes so strong you can't control it. But what I tell people to do is find a quiet place where you feel safe. No one's going to judge or criticize you. And it's just go in your quiet room And whatever you're feeling, just allow yourself to feel it.
Yeah.
It's okay to feel, because when we try to like, no, I don't want to feel that. This is bad. I have that feel a tear. I feel upset. I'm gonna like bottle it down. And that, what that does is that's an energy that wants to get released. And when you bottle it back down, it's gonna go somewhere. And that's how it starts to manifest into physical problems, physical pains that just come on suddenly. You see all kinds of chronic disease that's out there, and research has always shown that it's stress related illnesses. From I've seen, from cancers to autoimmune disorders. And I worked with those patients all the time when I was in my career. Is I saw cancer patients, and a lot of them, because there was a lot of pent up, bottled up emotion, things that were, it represents things that are eating them at the inside. Family issues, being ostracized from their communities, and all the guilt and shame, and that's what they never processed until they finally let it out. And it's like it all comes out like floodgates. So I tell people, it's okay to feel your emotions, let it process, because it doesn't last that long. It's like a storm. You feel like you need to cry. You can't cry for 24 hours straight. And you might have waves, but go ahead.
Yeah, and sometimes also, like when people in relationships, when there's like the physical violence, observing our parents, like how did they treat us as kids when we did something bad, when we did something wrong in their eyes? Did they hit us? Did they spank us? So what is that teaching the kids? Oh, it's okay to hit someone when you're upset. It's okay to, lash out at others when, when you do something, or when they do something wrong.
Or say something hurtful.
Yeah, or say something hurtful. There's yelling, there's hitting, there, all kinds of things like that. And that's why, with kids, it's like they're sponges, and they soak it up. So if they got hit as a child, and, for doing something wrong or saying something wrong, then they're like, oh, well, it's okay to do this when I'm upset. It's okay to hit others when I'm upset.
As long as I'm upset about it, I can do that.
Yeah, it's like, oh, well, my parents did it, then it's probably okay.
Yeah.
And that's what parents teach their children when they react in that way as well.
Wow. Okay, so you guys have a new project that you guys are coming up with. Tell us about that.
So we're gonna have a summit, and it's coming up in May, and it's called the Manifestation Mindset Summit, and it's to create an awareness of consciousness and just expand consciousness.
Yeah, because we think about, we've been talking about this whole time, is how do we manifest things? It's all energy. It all starts in thought and our experiences. And it's like, we all have that aura, that energy field that's around us. And even if people don't really get that concept, as we feel that is, you might say that, you said it to Veronica, like you feel people, you can touch them, you get in their feeling, but we all do that at some degree. Just some are more in tune to that than others. Think about when you get into like an elevator, or you're in a room and there's someone there, and it's like kind of like sometimes that awkward feeling, and it's quiet, and it's like, what happens? Like, why? And what do we say? That person just gave me like a bad vibe. Yeah. What is vibe? That's vibration. It's an energy that they're putting out. You didn't know what it was. It's just you felt something. Yeah. Or when I'm around this person, for some reason, I don't know what it is, but they make me feel really, really good. So you can really tune into someone's energy, and and that's a good thing. That's intuition. How you can learn to tune into that once you quiet the noise, because what that will do, it lets you know, can I trust this person? Is there different intentions? But also is when we learn work on our own vibration, we can learn to actually create what it is that we want in our life. But we have to have a greater awareness of that. And that's what this summit's going to be about, to bring on a lot of top experts in this field that will share their experiences and how to work with it. How do we work with our mindset? How do we track things into our life? And that's what we're putting on, which will be May 12th through 14th.
And is it virtual?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. How do people get tickets? Because our comment section are blowing up with, oh my God, this is amazing. Well, telling me that, I'm being so vulnerable doing this live on television.
No, that's awesome that you're even open to do that, because a lot of people are like, no, I don't want anyone to.
Well,
to
I'm
know.
an open book. I don't hide nothing. It's you get what you get.
Yeah.
And just let people know, when we do this kind of work, you don't have to work with us live or everybody's watching you. Some people, but a lot of people need that safe place, and we give them that safe place to be able to express, because a lot a lot of people just don't feel safe expressing their emotions.
No.
They don't feel comfortable talking to their significant other or their family members or their friends. They don't know where to go. And so that's why a lot of it gets bottled up, because they they haven't learned how to express things.
Yeah.
So if they want to be a part of this summit, they want to find out everything, you can go to manifestationmindsetsummit.com. You can register. We have a private Facebook group. It's a free summit for everybody. You go register on the website, and we'll put the links here for you guys to and register. We'll do it. We have a few speakers. We're going to be doing a lot of interviews with people. We'll put those up live for you guys, and it's gonna be a lot of fun.
And I'll put it in the link right now.
Yeah, I'll put it in the comment section. So manifestationmindsetsummit.com, right? And they can have their tickets. It's May 12th through the 14th.
May 12th to 14th, yes.
Perfect. And then how can people get a hold of you guys? Like if they want something like this, and like I said, like he said, you do not have to do this live on television, streaming to 250 million people. How can they get a hold of you and do a session like this?
Yeah, you can also go to our website, which is Manifestation Mindset Institute. So make sure you go to the right one. There's Institute and Summit.
Institute and Summit.
At the Institute, that's where you can find about the things that we do, some of the programs that we have. We have, year-long programs to just releasing programs for you guys. And that's what we do. So you can go there, any information you want, just reach out to us, contact. You can also find us on Facebook at Aaron and Veronica. You can always do a private message for us, and we usually get back right away.
What kind of things you guys coming up after the summit? Is there any books or journals or?
Well, we are in the works of creating videos and things that people can purchase online. That way they don't, they could do it at their own convenience. So
yeah.
we're in the process of doing that.
And the book is in the ethers right now. In a process.
I've been telling you guys that you guys need a book.
Yeah.
We're creating the stories right now. We got
so many different stories.
Because the story always goes on, right? So we're gonna probably need a few books for our stories.
We need an Aaron and Veronica book story, the story of love.
It's like this thick.
I know, right?
Like the Bible.
We'll turn it into a Harry Potter series.
Fun, book 66. Aaron, Veronica, thank you guys so much for being on and taking me through the process once again. You guys can go to manifestationmindsetsummit.com. Grab your tickets. They're complimentary. It's May 12th through the 14th. I know I am going to go and register myself like immediately because these people are amazing. The things that they did work on me in San Diego, and like even now, like the pit is gone. Like there's nothing there. I am Tina Torres, your client retention expert, otherwise known as the gratitude specialist. Today is Connect Summit Day. If you go to connectvirtualsummit.com, you can grab your complimentary tickets. We start at 2:00 Eastern today. We go until 7. We have some amazing speakers today. I am one of them. We are talking relationships, building relationships online and offline, building connections, making that human connection, how to build those relationships with your business people, all of that good stuff. We are talking relationships and team building today all day. So make sure you go to connectvirtualsummit.com, grab your complimentary tickets. And on Monday, I have my Mastering Your Follow-Up Masterclass starting. So you can go to masteringyourfollowup.com, grab your free ticket for that too. It's a 5-day masterclass every day from at 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. Eastern, starting May 3rd all the way to the 7th. And I'm going to teach you everything you need to know on how to follow up, when, where, what to do, how to build relationships with social media content, what to post on social media to get that engagement. You can go to masteringyourfollowup.com. We are Angel and Tina, minus the Angel today on the Angel and Tina Morning Show. We come to you live every weekday morning at 11 a.m. Eastern. We hope we brought a bright start to your guys' day. Have a fabulous day. We'll see you back here on the Connect Summit at 2:00, guys. Have a great day.
Bye.
Bye, guys.